Hello. This is session 2 of Free of Headspace, the Vancouver Aftermath. So who wants to recap for everybody what happened last time?
Complete silence.
I can't help much with that
one. Well, let's see. We started with Somerset having stepped on a trap, a landmine of sorts left by 3H for anyone that might be coming in, maybe specifically for Trauma 1, who knows. But we managed to get through that with Somerset only freaking out a bit. We moved on. We did some grappling to get around to floors we needed to be on, and I think there were a couple more traps along the way that we sort of moved beyond. But as we got into a central chamber, there were some what turned out to be drones that popped up, threatened us, kept us away from the computer consoles we were getting to, and then there was an unfortunateness with us being split up. I believe Nike set off some sort of like security measure, and Watts went to go help her, and then a security field came down between Somerset and the other two. I'm sorry, who's your character again, Tyler? Shade?
It is Shade. Shade. Yeah, Tyler's character is Shade, yeah.
Shade, you were off on the mainland at sort of the other end of utilities connection we were trying to set up with this island to make sure things went smoothly on that end. I assume everything went perfectly on your side. But we got split up, and while Watts was setting up trying to get through the barrier between me and him, Nike went off to find a security control room to try and shut some of this down. I meanwhile was negotiating with drones who wanted to shoot me a lot. And it all sort of came together with Nike bringing down the security barriers, Watts taking out one of the drones, and I managed to draw on a little parkour and a little drone knowledge to hack the last drone. And during that time, Trauma 1 was setting up a team outside the power plant to come in and sweep it and take things over. I sort of forget where we left things on.
We live streamed them. We basically assumed they wouldn't do anything nefarious if they were being broadcast across the planet. So if I remember correctly, we were streaming that to Shade, so that Shade could transmit it globally. We then got the generator working, which alerted the guys coming outside. They came in and we left. Pretty much it. We then had fun with the helicopter and them launching surface-to-air missiles at us. So yeah, I think we left it with the helicopter just sort of disappearing into the sunset.
Very cinematic exit. Thanks to your sniping of there was no second missile fired at us.
That's true.
Yeah, so we're into the second session. So there's some for the people watching. There is some setup that needs to be done at the start of session 2 to define connections between the players and the player characters and NPCs. We're going to streamline that a little bit, as I mentioned to you guys in chat. So I think we only really need one anchor connection plus the 2 ghost operators that we established previously. So we're just going to run with those. So for the first anchor, the one that isn't one of your former teammates, my thought was that could be the underground reporter that you had mentioned having a affiliation with?
Yeah, I'd be curious to figure out why he was willing to go onto this like squatters island and stream these people trying to put together an archaeology civilization.
So I've given them a name. It's no, that's not her. Brandy Brodeur for the Vancouver Free Press. So yeah, so each of you should define one positive relationship and one negative relationship with them. No. So each operator should define one positive relationship with an anchor, and then each operator has one complicated relationship with another anchor, as defined by a leading question from me. Oh, I missed that bit. Okay. So, who wants to have a positive relationship with? So, like, we've got three. We've got three of them. So there's the reporter, Brandy Brodeur. There's your former handler, not handler. Is it handler?
Handler.
Keaton, the man with the plan.
Yeah, Keaton. So there's him, and then there's Whistler. So you each need to come up with a positive relationship with them. So I'm thinking, let's see, I'm thinking one of you was the person who brought the reporter in. So who was that, and how did you know them? Why were they willing to work with you?
I feel like that could be Shade if you're interested, Tyler.
Yeah, I mean, if I'm included in as one that could have done it, then I think that's a good idea. It probably would be someone that I would have met through that information guild that I have, and that's one of my edges, and probably was someone, since I'm kind of in the party scene, that I would have maybe circulated through with them. They probably, might have been that they covered more fluffy stories, and I was feeding better stories to try and, I guess it's Brandy, try and help Brandy get higher profile, get a better stories out there, maybe.
Okay, so you sent interesting stories her way.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and let's say who was on the receiving end of some bad press that Brandy was responsible for?
I have an idea. A lot of the moves I didn't take in the playbook are to do with contacts on the street and such. I'm wondering if maybe I helped, maybe when Nike and Shade were working together in the early days, I helped get her in with a group in order to dig out a serious story, but she burnt the contacts I had with that group. Maybe she was on a short deadline or something, and her producer just got her to do something easy. So she burnt the group, and I'm not in contact with them anymore because they blame me a little bit, or maybe a lot. Yeah, so that's my idea.
That's a cool idea.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So who? Okay. for Keaton. Actually, does anybody have ideas? Let's just freeform it. So, do you have anyone have an idea for a positive relationship with Keaton?
What do we know about Keaton?
He sort of brought this whole group together, didn't he?
And that's the former handler, Keith.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see, for a positive.
Who's this? Sorry, I'm not looking at my screen.
Yeah, that was me. Just saying something for a positive.
Say for you, you've already established a positive connection with NPC, so.
Okay, I'm going to suggest that Watts might have had a negative relationship with Keaton, or a shaky relationship. I get the feeling that Keaton was planning this group for some time and had eyed up a number of potential recruits. And I think Watts realized that one of them wasn't working with the corporation. This is when Watts was still very corporate, and got them arrested. So Keaton had to look elsewhere.
Okay. I just realized I was misreading. The negative relationships are for agents, but for anchors, you have complicated relationships with. So it's positive and a complicated relationship with one.
Okay, that sounds complicated.
Okay. So recap that again for me, just quickly.
Okay, I figure Keaton's been sizing this group up for some time, well before Watts became a prospective member, and he had some people in mind, and this is when Watts was still very much a corporate drone. He identified one of these people as maybe having mixed loyalties, and got them arrested, forcing Keaton to look elsewhere. So at least one of us was Keaton's second choice, and his first choice ended up in jail.
We have to know, right?
Okay. And who had? Okay. So I'm misunderstanding what it said. So Shade's got a positive relationship. Nike has a negative relationship, complicated relationship, and Watts has a complicated relationship. So, who did you have a positive relationship with?
Does it have to be Whistler?
No, it can. Any of the anchors that we've established can be.
Which other anchors have we established?
There's Keaton. There's Brandy Brodeur, the reporter, and there's Whistler. We are technically supposed to have two more, but for to make things quicker, I've pared it down to just the one and the other two.
Okay. How would you feel? I presume Brandy's female.
Yeah.
With the name. Okay. How would you feel about Brandy being the mother of the son I had in my backstory?
Ooh.
Let me just.
The son is dead, but.
So this would be like your ex-wife, or?
I don't think we ever married. We definitely had a relationship. We can explore later on how it broke up or whatever happened, but we're still on positive terms.
Okay. So, Brandy, positive relationship with Watts. mother of his dead son. Okay. Shade, who do you have a negative relationship with of the three?
Can you remind me again who Whistler was? What our relationship with him is?
Whistler was the team's the sales tech. So he was.
He's a bit of a joker, and he was very much into drones. Is about all we really know about him.
All right.
He was sort of the kid that was always like at Keaton's elbow.
Yeah.
He was a joker. He liked old sitcoms. He was Keaton's sidekick.
I think I'm going to go with my negative then with Keaton. I think that I think Keaton probably thought I was too violent, and I think I probably knocked off or managed to kill an informant we really needed. That there was someone who was going to be able to give us more information, and I went in and knocked him off before we could get that information. Probably in a fit of rage.
Recklessly killed an informant. Okay. And okay, so Nike. Again, we're saying negative. It's complicated. So. Who haven't I done yet?
I think you've only got one for Nike. You've got a complicated for Nike, but no positive.
Yeah, so Nike, positive relationship.
Does Somerset have anything yet? Because I don't think she does.
I don't think we've not done Somerset yet.
Yeah. So do you want me to choose first or after? I just don't want to.
We'll just finish off the people that we've done so far, and then we'll move on to Somerset.
I'm thinking my positive relationship with Keaton, or was with Keaton. I'm thinking it's not so much anything I've done or he'd done in our working together. It's just that Keaton understood exactly how much control Nike needed to have in any given situation and when maybe to take the reins a little bit. So I think just in terms of knowing her psychologically, he was really keyed in. And she never felt like he was overbearing or anything like that.
So would you say he was kind of like sort of preparing you to be in charge?
Maybe in his mind, certainly not in Nike's. Yeah, it's an interesting take on things. Yeah.
That leaves poor Somerset with everything on Whistler.
Yes, nobody's got a relationship with Whistler.
Well, it's we can double up on people, can't we? Yeah. I think Somerset had a positive relationship with Keaton. I think when her rival at Escalapian got killed and she got promoted into sort of the secret experiments division, I think she started like haphazardly reaching out for like, I've got to leak this story somewhere sort of thing, and started setting off a lot of red flags, sort of hitting like corporate spies in the news media and things like that. And I think things were sort of on the edge of she was about to be black bagged or taken out or whatever. And it was Keaton who had like noticed all of the the sort of wave she was putting out, that he came in. I think he recruited her personally, and he sort of like got her out of an action-filled situation, like got her out of a building that was being surrounded by SWAT teams or things like that. So I think she has like had a very personal respect and like loyalty to Keaton, and therefore the mission, not the mission, and Keaton was the one that brought her into it. Which I think sort of led into the I've got a complicated relationship with damn it, names.
Whistler.
Whistler. I like the idea that sort of unknown to Somerset, like she was that second choice operator of Keaton's. She was the one that had to be brought in when the prime candidate was killed. And I think Whistler did know that. Like he was there with Keaton through all the planning stages. And I think I was the second choice because when they were doing research, like Whistler really dug into all of the shit that was going on at Escalapian and the sort of tech work that was going on there, and finding things, bits and pieces of cyberware that I'd invented being used for nefarious purposes there. So never really trusted me coming into the operation. And I think like there was sort of this constant running battle of like I would just find his little drones everywhere around, spying on me, watching me, like just waiting for me to do the traitorous actions that he knew I was gonna do. And like I said, I really respected Keaton, so I didn't want to like lash out at Whistler or really take it badly. So there was just this very tense Cold War sort of going on between us.
Cool. So that's the anchor connections. After that, we've got agent connections. So within the setting, each of the corporations has an agent tied in with them, who acts as the face for that organization that you most regularly interact with. So in this case, I'm only going to do two agents. I'm not going to do the whole 5 corporations. So I'm going to do the agents for Free H Energy and Trauma 1. So for agent for Free H Energy is a guy, Nemo. He's a tech. He's ruled by ego, emotion-wise, and he's a friendly but ruthless man. I could give you his whole background that it has in the book, but I don't think your characters would necessarily know all of it. So, well, actually, Nike worked for Free H, so she might know him a bit more better.
So yeah, I mean, I don't mind if he is a new face on the scene and I don't know him except by reputation, or whether I piloted him around on occasion.
I think it's maybe the case that you perhaps just never crossed. He was in a different department or something like that.
Yeah, sure.
But okay, so and then for Trauma 1 we have Veronica Coate. She's an infiltrator. Her prime emotion is need. She's compassionate and networked, so she knows people. So I need to ask which operator, which you guys or Anchor, does Peter Nemo have a positive relationship with, and why? So it can be you guys, or it can be one of the Anchor NPCs we've established.
I can take it if nobody else wants to, or something.
I could also see Whistler.
Hmm.
I have the tech connection. Which would you prefer, Tyler?
I could go either way. I haven't really got a great idea of how we're connected. So if you have a thought of what Whistler might be connected, that may be better.
Not really.
Oh.
Do you think maybe it could be something leveraging on something that came up earlier? So like maybe Keaton tried to recruit Nemo but failed. So although Whistler doesn't, maybe he knows it now, but when he was alive, he didn't know he was also Keaton's second choice.
I mean, it doesn't sound like a positive relationship to me.
Or is that reincorporating a bit too much?
Well, no. If you don't think that sounds particularly positive, Robert, then we could go with something as an idea that we know that he's ruthless. He may have, could he have possibly tried to hire us to do something outside of the court for him? And maybe I or Whistler or someone else was that person that made the contact and did it? Or Keaton? Does that sound like a positive relationship out of that we did off the books work for him?
Sure, that sounds like something
entirely plausible.
Yeah, and it could even be something that we approved of. Maybe he was leaking something out of the company. For him, it was trying to hurt a fellow coworker. For us, it was getting bad stuff out on 3H.
Okay. So in his background, he's specifically trying to track down a leak in the organization. So maybe not that so much, but definitely might have subcontracted with you guys to deal with a problem, a mutual problem. Like, they don't really like the other corporations either. They're all sort of competing with each other, so it wouldn't be unusual for them to hire you guys to make those guys' life difficult for a change. So who's that with? Are we saying with?
So do we have that then mean that he probably had the friendly relationship, or the positive relationship with, say, Keaton, since Keaton was our handler?
That makes sense, yeah. Okay, so all right, and then who had a negative relationship with Nemo?
That sounds like a good one for you, Nike, if y'all were in the same corps.
Yeah. I think I might turn this one up full and say, I did drive for Nemo back in the day. So before I left, before everything spun up for us in Headspace. So yeah, I know just how ruthless he is, and maybe this is the kind of one point of contention between Nike and Keaton. He sees through, or she sees through the facade, that friendly networking, to see how ruthless he is.
Okay. Okay, and then for Veronica, the Trauma 1 agent, who had a positive relationship with her and why?
I think it might work for Watts. I can see them having met on a corporate retreat some time back, possibly as team leaders for sort of two teams on some sort of corporate retreat, and building up a healthy relationship with each other over, a period of a week competing with each other. So it sort of built on respect for each other's abilities. But yeah, that would probably work quite well.
So friendly rivalry, sort of.
Yeah, a definite respect, rivalry, sort of little games of one-upmanship, but at the same time built on a healthy, understanding of each other.
She knew she wanted you on her paintball team, right?
That's the one.
All right. And who had a negative relationship with her?
I think that was Somerset. Or is Somerset. I think one of the secrets I found out from Escalapian is that the teams that Veronica Coate was in charge of, like every now and then there would be more cases of plague sort of found, and people rushed into one of the quarantine zones. And it turns out that this was mostly from Veronica Coates' teams. They would find these poor and underprivileged, like, people struggling to get by in areas that were valuable.
So I think you're confusing Trauma 1 with Asclepian
No.
Labs. So like, how does that work? So her team.
I'm envisioning a deal between Escalapian and Trauma 1. Basically, Trauma 1 goes into poor areas, infects people with the plague, and then gives Escalapian new test subjects as they rush them off to the quarantine zone and open up areas that they can sell off rights to the other corps or people. Does that fit in the world?
That doesn't fit in with her character, I'm afraid.
Well, I don't know anything about her character.
Well, she's compassionate, so she does care about people, but she mostly puts her own personal gain ahead of that.
Yeah, her keywords were what? They were compassionate and connected. Was that the other one?
Yeah,
Network.
Compassionate, networked.
I was reading it as a sort of potential facade, but if someone else has an idea, go for it.
Well, I could bring in something with my edge of the angel, which is I refuse to kill someone. Perhaps it was someone that she was friendly with, and since I got them and got them out, maybe she thinks I really did kill them. Maybe she believes that I'm the one that knocked these people off, but in fact I've actually taken them and I'm helping them hide. Does that sound like a good negative?
Right. So who are these people that she thinks you killed?
I labeled them down as this was a drug maker or a scientist, a chemist who was coming up with various drugs to I mean, he was actually doing good. He was coming up with medicines to help people, and I had been sent in to kind of eliminate him. And when I did, he had a kid with him, his child, and I just couldn't bring myself to kill him. He was one of the things that set me off and made me leave the corps. So I didn't name him yet, but he was a scientist creating medical drugs.
Okay. So that's all for the agent connections. So the next thing I do is I activate another corporate project. So previously you were just dealing with Trauma 1 to let me just check. Expand the reclamation zone, force poor from their homes and repossess the valuable coastline property, starting with the abandoned 3H energy archaeology. So for this session, I'm starting a new project for 3H energy. Their project goal is to reclaim the fallen 3H energy coastal archaeology. It holds vast technology or information secrets. So the milestones.
Sorry, to reclaim.
They are called the 3H energy coastal archaeology.
Is
basically
that the Richmond one? I'm trying to look at it on the map.
No, the archaeology that you guys are at.
Right,
the one
okay,
that you, yeah. the one that you're on at the moment, that originally belonged to them, and Trauma 1 have sort of swooped in to try and take it over, and you guys are helping the squatters that are there. So their goal is to reclaim that and the secrets that are contained within it. The milestones I've defined for that are the time milestone, prevent other parties from gaining a foothold in the facility, which they've already failed. The cost milestone, destroy any evidence linking 3H's energy experiments to the tsunami. Basically, the cost in that case is they're trying to minimize. They're trying to minimize bad PR for themselves. And then the quality milestone is to essentially regain control of the facility itself. So you've got those to work against, or you've still got Trauma 1 working their angle as well. So for Trauma 1, you were working on the cost milestone for that. So they're trying to take control of the archaeology and evict the refugee squatters. And you completed the objective, opening up facilities and power for the squatters to live there. Actually, I don't know. So I'm going to move you over to the Trauma 1 clocks here so you can see for yourselves. But yeah, you basically need to decide whether you're going to continue working against the original project, the Trauma 1, or if you want to work against the new project that started by 3H Energy, or if you want to try and split your attention on both of them.
Given that they're so interrelated, it seems like it should be possible to split our attention.
You would think so.
Although really the easiest easiest solution to the Trauma 1 plan is to fortify the island and like make sure it can stand up to people, and the easiest solution to 3H energy plan is to nuke the island or get rid of it.
Yeah, but we need to worry about the squatters for both of them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Let's relocate the island and relocate the squatters there.
Yeah, I mean, if we're helping the squatters, are we simultaneously working against Trauma 1's attempt to take over the island and 3H's attempt to prevent others from having a foothold? Is that like
I think
two for the price of one?
Both corporations are definitely not happy that there are squatters on the island, so working to secure the squatters' position there would definitely be opposing both of them.
But that has limited legs on its own, because eventually we're just going to piss one of them off enough to bring in like major fire, and they're just squatters.
Well, if we can ramp up the bad publicity on 3H and get it out there that they were the cause of the tsunami, then it's going to be very difficult for them to have justifications for taking the place back over. And then that sort of lets us focus then onto like what Trauma 1, what we'll have to deal with them.
I wonder if we could try and set up a sort of cultural fad, like a real life docudrama channel set. Give a number of these squatters here constant live streams through our
Brandy
reporter there, Brandy, and set it up as a thing of like. I could see this being entertainment for people as long as they're to sit down and watch these people like work and succeed and reclaim this area. They focus in on projects that they're doing. We sort of invest people in the reclamation work that these people are doing on this island, and acts as a stand-in for like, we can all do this. This is the sort of rebuilding that can happen in Vancouver. And then anything that gets done against them is sort of going against a popular cultural wave. That makes sense?
It does. It sounds like a fairly long project, but I think it could work. It also would be something that, I mean, Watts, if you're friendly enough to talk to Veronica, we might could get a sympathetic ear in Trauma 1 once we showed these people as, real people to her. She's kind of got a soft heart.
You must be thinking of a different Veronica. The Veronica I know definitely does not have a soft heart.
So
not when time comes in for end of quarter reporting, right?
So we've already got the objective set up for the cost milestone 1. You're still basically working towards that angle for them. Over to 3H Energy, you can pick one of these milestones. I think they've already failed the time milestone. Regain control of the facility or destroy any evidence linking 3H Energy's experiments to the tsunami.
Okay, so finding evidence and shoving it somewhere public.
Okay.
Is a definite one, or we prevent them regaining control of the facility. Well, I get the feeling they'll have difficulty with that. I mean, they can bring a lot of military sort of strength against us.
Yeah.
So the evidence.
Bear in mind, though, 3H Energy right now do not have like they're going to have to fight Trauma 1 to even get access to their facility. No.
Yeah, but we don't want to help Trauma 1.
Sorry?
I'm sorry, go ahead.
What was that,
Declan, go ahead.
Can we have a look at the Trauma 1 clock again?
Okay. Just give me a second. There we go.
Cool.
What are y'all looking at?
Yeah, what are we seeing?
In Roll20.
Oh, the Roll20.
Oh.
I forgot to bring that one up. Ooh, can you drop me a link?
Yeah, just give me a second. I'll see it. Yeah, there's the link there. Copy. Fit in the video window. So here's
one of them is going to succeed at a milestone because 3H want to regain control of the facility, and Trauma 1 want to prevent 3H from recovering the facility. So one of those is going to succeed. There's nothing we can do about that.
Well, unless it's the squatters.
Well, in that case, Trauma 1 still succeed. Their objective is to prevent 3H.
Sorry, yeah, you're right.
Yeah,
I was reading the other one where they establish a foothold.
Yeah, they're complete opposites. So
Yeah,
one of them is going to succeed. There's nothing we can do about that.
Yeah.
Almost as if I planned it that way.
But that's fine. I'm happy for them to prevent 3H from taking it over.
So the question then is, who do we side with? I think we prevent 3H.
I agree.
But we don't want the squatters evicted.
I continue to think that if we can get this information that 3H caused this, it's going to stymie them in a lot of ways.
Yeah, and I can't remember who said it, but for 3H to make a beachhead on the arcology, they need to directly go up against Trauma 1. So while they're busy taking care of each other, we can go off to something they're not paying attention to, like Tyler says, to unearth that evidence and get it out there.
Mm-hmm.
How do we make the arcology an untenable position for Trauma 1? Actually, if we destroy the arcology, doesn't do much for the squatters, though.
No.
I do like Patrick's idea of kind of, if we start humanizing these squatters, Trauma 1 has to at least keep up the front of being helpful to people. They're there to try and be, medical professionals. You start distrusting medical professionals who are out there to just kill folks.
Yeah, so their mandate isn't to kill people; it's to relocate them so that they can take over a site and sell it to partners.
I kind of go with that. I kind of second that idea of trying to build up the appearance of what these squatters are like, to make them get a face in the public, so it'll be harder to get them out. I don't know if Trauma 1 will try and just go over the top of that, but it sounds like a start.
Yeah. Where are the squatters at the moment?
So the squatters, I'll just take you over to the map again. So previously you were I believe there's a way I can center you guys on a spot.
I think it's control-click. There, that did it.
So you guys were on the main island here.
Mm-hmm.
There's like a chain of 3 different islands here. I believe the squatters are holed up in the sub-arcology on this island. So
Okay, are those bridges?
yeah, and those are sort of bridges between the islands, and between the island, the main island, and the mainland. So
Okay.
And then is this one down at the bottom? Is that the one where the power facility was?
mm,
That one there.
I think this one was the one
Okay.
previously.
Okay.
Okay. So we're generating power. The squatters have got power. Where are the squatters getting their food from? I mean, if we blow the bridge, does it help the squatters, or does it help? Or does it hinder the squatters?
I think that Trauma 1 would have locked down the bridge as the first step after establishing a foothold. So there might be like some smuggler with a boat making trips here.
Yeah, but the bridge is 2 kilometers long. There's lots of it to aim at.
Yeah. That's not a bad idea. Isolating it off. I mean, I don't know if it certainly won't stop them, but it will make it a little more difficult for them to come in.
Yeah, but if the squatters are reliant on, for example, food coming across that bridge, it really doesn't help.
Yeah. Of course, he was saying it sounds like smugglers are getting them food across the bay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, short term, it would seem to do nothing bad for the squatters, but once they get up and running, who's going to want to rebuild a bridge for them?
Yeah. Probably best not to blow the bridge.
Okay.
Okay, the generator's running. Both corporations want to get all 3 islands.
I think so. Let's see. Yeah, for Trauma 1, they want to reclaim the island. Yeah, both of them want the whole island network.
And 3H.
Yeah, 3H want total control of their facility back.
Right, so both of them want all 3 islands.
Yeah. I think we're starting to idea loop. We probably need to settle on something.
Yeah.
Can we get 3H to employ the squatters? They've got an energy plant. They need workers.
So I say, like Nike, you worked for 3H, so you were aware that somehow they knew well in advance, like something was about to happen. They knew the scenario was going to happen before it happened.
Yeah, I think some technical people and then some executives knew, but I don't think maybe it was not quite last minute, but in the run-up, some people knew it was going to happen and was inevitable. And I think they must have left people behind in the arcology or on plants further out to sea because they just didn't have an evacuation plan. And so they didn't want to tip their hand, because if they did evacuate, then they would have, everyone would have known that they were kind of responsible.
So what I'm saying is, like, you don't know the specifics of what they're responsible for, but you do know they have something to hide.
Yeah. So if it's in the case of maybe infiltrating an offshore facility to get the databases or the communications that prove that's one thing, or maybe kidnapping an executive and getting them to testify or something like that. It's another approach.
Okay, how about Nike and Somerset, since Somerset is our investigator, start looking for evidence of that 3H were in some way involved in the tsunami. Meanwhile, Watts and Shade go and see our reporter friend and see if we can arrange for a reality TV show to humanize these squatters.
Yeah. And honestly, if we're going with sort of open information, just exposing and putting things out there in live streams as our biggest weapon, we need to do a nuanced, complicated relationship with Trauma 1, but if we can just find that evidence on 3H and put it out there, that will basically send them into a tailspin that will cut off any sort of external operations on this arcology or anything, as they're trying to just save their asses. Like, that's a pretty straightforward, if we can just smash them, we can smash them. And then that leaves Trauma 1. Maybe we could work up a long-term relationship with them and the squatters.
Especially if we badge the program as a Trauma 1 program. Look what Trauma 1 are doing for these squatters. Look how they're helping them.
I like that.
Play Trauma 1 as the good guys in this.
We're shaming them into doing what they say they're going to do.
Yeah.
Cool. That sounds like a plan.
Okay, I can only see one downside to it, which is we're sending the two combat-capable characters together. I'm sure Nike and Somerset can survive on their own.
We're always with them.
Yeah,
that's true.
Give the headspace. We're all combat capable.
All right. So I think you've got some semblance of a plan now. So when we last left you were flying away in your helicopter towards presumably the island where the squatters are.
Is there anything where we can relax or something to get these figures down? We're maxed out on rage, grief, and ego.
Yeah, sure. If you want to say like you settled down, it's maybe been a few days or so since the previous operation, and you've had some downtime to work with the squatters and just recover from your ordeal.
I've got a safe house.
That sounds good.
Which I don't think we have really specified where it is. So, well, I'm not sure. Maybe it is on the arcology. I kind of imagined it being, in the middle of the city, somewhere not on 3H territory.
Sure.
Yeah. It would be really strangely convenient if it was here on the arcology.
You've got a yacht in Mud Bay or something. Well, I guess that's a safe boat rather than a safe house.
Yeah, a safe houseboat.
I've got random dice rolling in here for an actual dice. All right, so you've had a couple of days, which means that you can reduce your stress tracks by 2 points overall.
Should we get 2 of the 4s down to 3s?
Okay, if the entire cell gets rest, then each player may lower a track of their choice. So that's 4. So between you get to choose 2 to reduce. I think that will probably reduce most of them, to be honest.
So we've got a total of 12 reduction.
Yeah.
8.
Oh no, hang on, sorry. 2 each. Sorry, we've got a total of 8 reduction.
Yeah.
Should we trim everything
Yeah,
down to
fine.
2 and then take 2 more off?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. Okay, so if we trim everything down to 2, we've still got 2 to remove.
Does anybody have any edges that lower particular tracks?
I've got an edge which lowers fear, but I'll keep that until fear goes up.
Yeah,
Okay.
so I don't think we need to work on fear anymore. I've got a generic one.
Ego makes sense because I think we've got 5 baggages on ego. 4 baggages on ego.
Okay.
So let's get ego down.
Okay.
I have a lot of rage too, I feel like.
We've got 3 rages, I can
3.
see. How many griefs have we got?
3.
3. And how many needs? Just 1? And we won't reduce need then, so is it rage or grief?
Rage.
Cool.
Okay. So you guys have had a couple of days to rest and recover, de-stress in both realistic, in mechanical and story terms. So tell me a bit about this hideout of yours.
So I think it's maybe not a boat, but somewhere on the waterfront, maybe at the end of a cul-de-sac which leads to a little bay, maybe not quite mud bay, but be outside on the seafront where there's a couple of piers there near the river. And it's kind of a blockhouse, something maybe that's quite old, not newfangled architecture, something that almost looks like a bunker. And I think it's maybe got a high wall on the outside, so that the rooftop is more like an adobe roof than anything well suited to the rain that we get in the Pacific Northwest up here. And in fact, only a crazy or ultra skilled pilot would try to land a helicopter or something like that in that rooftop where it's out of sight. But there you go. And inside, I think something quite utilitarian, maybe due to water damage, everything is just floors are concrete. All the beds and furniture is really I don't know, maybe military cot beds, all that kind of stuff. Really basic. Not somewhere you'd like to spend a lot of time. But I think the one kind of aspect of, I won't say luxury, but aspect of how you do get to survive in a safe house for hours on end is there's a huge collection of entertainment, everything from the latest mini disc of the latest Hollywood blockbuster to tattered old paperback books that have been read 100 times. So somewhere to pass the time. That's pretty much all it is.
Okay. So you're at your HQ, and I assume you've just had this conversation in character, so about what your next move is. So, where do you go from there?
Well, if it sounds like we're wanting to split,
it sounds like we're both going to the energy, to the archaeology. One of us to search for evidence, the other to go and see the reporter that was there last time we saw her.
Mm-hmm.
And I take it you're going to be using your not helicopter. It's
The Aerodyne.
Aerodyne.
I'm not sure if we have an alternate. Like, how did we get on the previous time? Did we get dropped by Aerodyne, or did we?
Thought we had a boat first time.
Boat? Okay,
Yeah.
So I guess we can insert on the Aerodyne, and then maybe I can just keep it on station to pick us up later, without too much hassle.
How is it for stealth, or like how universal is radar? Because you have to figure, like, that particular Aerodyne they're going to be watching out for now.
Yeah. This is why I'm a little bit reticent about using it to go back in, but I can fly pretty close to the waves, right? So I guess I'll be using every trick in the book to try to keep off their radar on the way in.
Trust our runner.
Well, it sounds like that would be a professional move.
Okay. I guess is it worth just adding to the track to make sure we get in safely, or do people happy to roll? I'm not really good at rolling with that.
Your pilot is based off of rage, so
yeah.
You're at one rage.
Yeah. So, how do people feel about me just marking the stress on rage and taking it?
May as well.
Yeah.
Okay.
Better than rolling.
Yeah, just go professional.
Okay.
Okay. So you'll pile into the Aerodyne, and Nike, you keep it as you say, you keep fairly close to the sea, to stay below radar detection. Whereabouts do you go to drop?
I think we're probably better off, dropping us all in one location rather than doing 2 drops. So, I guess we want to drop, on the shore of the squatter island, and then we're going to have to infiltrate anyway. So,
all right. So you drop in the shore of the squatter island. The squatters, as mentioned, they're in the subarcology here, which is a smaller clone almost of the main building that you were in previously. It's a sort of pyramid-like structure that has sort of legs jutting out from 2 of the sides, so that if you look down on it from above, it looks like kind of like an H.
Okay.
And it's in fairly shoddy repair. The squatters have holed up inside there and have made a home within its walls.
Okay. What do we think 3H did in this arcology?
Is the 3H is the energy guys, right? So
yeah,
I mean, is it a research arcology, or
if the squatters took it over, I would bet it was probably their barracks and living facilities. I mean, it would be logical they'd have gone to the place where people lived, wouldn't we think?
Yeah, I'm just thinking the evidence. If we're looking for evidence that 3H caused the tsunami, it's unlikely to be in the accommodation area. We're much better off looking for labs or experimental areas or something.
Administrative facilities as well would possibly have it.
Most of the like the admin and the the actual work of the free HR ecology was done in the main building, which you were in last session. There's also it's the power supply there. The third island, which you haven't been to yet, I believe that would be like the more special projects division. Sorry.
Sounds to me like our investigating team needs to go to the special projects.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, the two of us who are going to try and get the reality program set up need to go and talk to the squatters.
Okay.
And to the reporter.
Sounds good.
So it's Nike and
Somerset, I believe.
Somerset. Okay.
Yeah, so I guess we are going to make our way from the kind of residential island over to the special project island. I mean, there's a bridge, but I think having done a few flyovers now, we should be aware if there's any kind of activity on Special Projects Island to kind of, because there's no point in doing kind of painstaking infiltration if there's no one there, right?
Yeah, so Trauma 1 have started gathering some of their people around the facility. They're not inside yet. There seems to be some security measures. There's stronger security in this building than there was in the main building. So they are having trouble entering at the moment.
Okay. And is there any way that we would be able to enter, via, a back route like a vehicle garage or maintenance tunnels or something like that? Something, not the front door.
Previously, I think we said that you had schematics of the facility.
Yeah.
So I think you would be able to find on there some maintenance tunnels that you could access from the outside that wouldn't require you to take the main entrance.
Yeah, so I guess we'll try to keep our presence unknown to the kind of Trauma 1 security staff as long as possible by taking those routes in, and hopefully we're able to beat them to the punch.
Okay, so Nike, it's you in Somerset, right? So if you want to stealth past these guys, that's going to be a Headspace move for you guys.
Yeah. So, yeah. Do we both roll, or just one of us, or what's the deal with stealth?
I think I'll say that because you're. It's difficult because I don't think there's any assisting mechanic. And actually, you wouldn't be assisting each other. You're both doing it yourselves. Just pick someone to be the leader, and we'll.
This is a well-worn role for Nike leading Somerset, by the hand or whatever through, dangerous situations. We've done it successfully or unsuccessfully a few times already.
Stop telling me to be quiet. I'm being quiet.
So yeah, I think I'll take the lead on this. What's our stealth is?
Fear.
Fear. Okay, I'm good at fear. +2. And you roll. So that's a 9 total.
Okay, so you succeed, but you have to pick an emotional complication.
Okay, let me pull up the fear complications. Hesitate, avoid an existing conflict, overestimate the danger, leave behind an ally or resource.
Is this which one? What are you rolling with, or what skill are you using?
I was using fear.
The stealth, doing stealth. Okay.
For stealth, yeah.
Okay.
So, how about? I'm not sure what kind of fictional positioning we're in, but what does overestimating the danger look like?
Yeah, it's a weird one, isn't it?
Maybe it's something along the lines of like it takes us 2 or 3 times as long as it should because you're super paranoid about them.
Page 51 for the description.
Thanks.
Sounds like a good idea. Natural.
So yeah, like in the example, Whistler is driving a car for a residential neighborhood, using observation to lose a tail. Has been following him for the last while, but because he overestimates the danger by running a red light and attracting the attention of a nearby police cruiser. So basically, your fear motivates you to, your fear of the danger, which isn't as great as you think it is, motivates you to push yourself in a way that is causes more problems.
Yeah, I'm not really sure what that looks like though. Let me have a look at the list. How about I hesitate when it matters most? Maybe I'm kind of so concerned with getting Somerset in that I'm putting her first, and then when I'm sure that she is through, I have not given myself enough time, and we're split up in some way, or I've got to take an alternate route. Is that too big a complication?
Okay, so I think it's maybe like the case of you've got like you're entering through the maintenance tunnels, and there's like a spinning fan turbine sort of thing, classic, and you managed to slow it down. You managed to get with some help from your old friend Lissler, you're able to slow it down. But you're so concerned getting Somerset ahead of you that the window, you miss the window yourself, and the turbine starts spinning up again too fast for you to join them.
I think there's sort of like yelled frantic instructions back and forth across the fan, so it sort of does that chopped up voice thing.
Yeah,
guys,
so
guys,
pointing at the map.
You hear this voice in your head telling you, you can just think to each other. You don't have to shout.
Oh, right. No, I knew that.
Our lizard brains were taking over there for a minute.
So yeah, we'll just we'll continue on. It'll be fine. There's a meetup point, a couple intersections up ahead. We should be able to loop back in, right?
Yeah. So yeah, I think I've got to take an alternate route, but you know the route, and I don't know the route you're going to take, and I'll just meet you there. So all under control, right?
It's fine. Everything's going great.
Okay. So let's get back to the other group for a moment. So Watts and Shade, what are you guys doing?
Right, we met some of the squatters last session.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess having been dropped off, we will wander in on foot looking for any squatters we recognise.
Okay.
And if we spot anybody, we'll ask them if they know where. I forgot her name. Brandy.
Brandy.
Yeah. So you meet a squatter you recognize by the name of Rhodey.
Okay. Hi, Rhodey.
Hey guys.
It's a little less uncomfortable now with the lights.
Yeah, it's getting there. Better to
Is
have.
Brandy around?
She's inside. Just doing some sort of video stuff.
Cool.
Excellent. Thank you.
Okay, we'll find her then.
Okay.
Yes, I suppose we'll head on through.
All right. So you head on through.
As we head through, I'm assessing this place. Is it defensible? Do any of these guys look like they have any skills at all? It's always possible that somebody may have ended up in this position, even though they have some skills. What are my gut feelings? If we had to train these guys up to hold a rifle, does it look like any of them could?
There are a few that could, but for the most part, these people are starved. They're frozen. They're less frozen now because they've got power heating. But
That's good.
Okay.
They're not all in. So there's a small amount of them that would be useful to you as possible guards and such, but nothing.
Okay.
You're not going to have an army to fight off anybody with.
But I reckon there's a couple of dozen that we could potentially train if we needed to.
About that, yeah.
Okay.
They get desperate enough, they'll be able to fight.
I'm going to get my Army of Darkness training sequence one way or another.
We see Brandy?
Yeah, Brandy is just sort of going around the different groups of people that are clustered around this area.
Brandy, baby, what's up? Getting good footage? I know you're the best, honey. How's it going?
Well, we're and she looks at her. Actually, does she have? I think she just has a drone with her that she just sort of flicks a button. Like she's got like a car alarm keychain type thing, which she just controls the drone with, and it turns off the camera recording. And the sort of friendly smile, sort of, she doesn't become cold, really. It's just like she's not playing it up as much.
Mm.
Okay, and she turns and says, "Oh, hey guys. What's up? I haven't seen you for a couple of days."
Yeah, we've been busy with the power. You've probably guessed. Look, how's how's it going trying to make these people real people? How's it going telling their story?
Well, I'm fairly limited. I don't have like a crew with me, so I'm just going around person by person and doing interviews right now.
Any of them striking your notice particularly? We got any hidden artists in here? We got any poets? Oh God, people just go crazy for poor people poets.
No poets so far.
This isn't really a reality show. It probably is. Brandy, what do we need? You said you've no crew. What do we actually need to make this a reality?
Well, I need what essentially what Shade says. I need some good faces, some
a synchronized dance routine. That's what they need. Oh my God, we could film a synchronized dance routine, like maybe the Thriller thing.
That's a great idea. Let's keep that on in the back pocket for now.
Maybe we could get some real stories.
Oh, those are boring.
Actually,
yeah. What is it? I can hear you thinking.
in a way, Nike's right. We need to make sure that whatever we're showing is more interesting than what the networks are showing.
I'm open to
No,
suggestions.
we need the drama of. We need some drama around this. Will they succeed? We need to be able to show them trying to reach some objective, trying to bring their lives together. So, I'm going to be asking questions.
Yeah, something that makes people think it's worth them having a place here. Something that makes people interested in them just not getting, tossed in the water. You've been looking through them, Brandy. None of them seem to have. You haven't heard a really good sob story. You haven't heard any of them with particular talent of any sort. Are we going to have to mold this clay from the ground up?
Either that or, Brandy, if we can get you an interview with someone in Trauma 1, then we can talk about what their plans for these people are. Put a real perspective on it.
That could work.
Okay.
Did you have anybody in mind? You got somebody in Trauma 1 you can speak to?
Not yet. But there's no shortage of Trauma 1 people around. Let's find out who's in charge.
Okay. So we'll go back to Nike right now. Okay, so Nike, you found the junction where you need to take a turn that will bring you back to the route that you were on with Somerset previously. But there's another damn turbine.
So yeah, I'm sure Whistler has given us some tips through the years about this, but maybe something very low tech like some really frozen CO2 or something like that to put on the central column that just slows it down enough that you can put a hand in and stop it and then just clamber through.
Yeah, actually sounds more like a contingency sort of thing.
Yeah.
Like
something.
Can parkour specialists time their leap?
Sure. What's that? Ego?
Yeah.
That seems a little crazy even for me. What's the contingency is? Hold on.
Contingency is ego.
Okay.
Okay,
yeah, I'll roll for that.
Okay.
My ego is +1. That's a 6. Okay.
So I believe in a 6 or less, you still do it, but you're going to have to pick 2 emotional complications from ego.
Or reveal your regret.
Yeah, that'll take you up to 10.
Yeah. Those ego complications look very juicy, though. You insult or berate an ally for being inferior. I think, obviously, she's not saying it, but you know what she's thinking. If this is all Somerset's fault, because she is always taking too long to get through difficult situations, and Nike always has to turn back or put her first or something. Like, this is her totally displacing the blame for this situation onto Somerset. And I don't know, is Somerset a little bit used to this kind of superiority, but this is a bit rawer than usual?
I think it's weird coming from Nike because it's so directed at Somerset. I think Nike has a sort of superiority to the world in general, but like they have a pretty coastal relationship, so I don't think it gets pointed directly at Somerset very much.
So do you think that Nike realizes that her kind of feelings are leaking into the Headspace, or is this accidentally directed, or is this like really kind of a little bit mean?
I think I don't know how long you guys necessarily have been on the Headspace. I think you've been on it longer, Nike, actually. So you're probably a bit more used to that, but it's still difficult sometimes to like hold back your own emotions from the rest of the group.
Yeah. Okay.
And I think I just sort of like mutter under my breath, repeating what I'm assuming that was Keaton's advice there of, remember, you don't have to talk out loud to talk to each other.
Nice.
Actually, I think that was Whistler.
Either way.
And then the second complication. My false pride puts the team at risk. That's juicy. So I don't know. Do I maybe the kind of feedback loop of the ego is that I thought crazy skilled parkour people could just jump through the fans. So maybe that's something I do try. And does this set off an alarm or something like that? Foreign object detected. As the sensors on the blades pick up something.
Sure. I think like it's maybe sets off some sort of detection device. It's not necessarily built for intruders per se, so much as vermin.
Okay, yeah.
But you hear a sort of we've established that power has been restored to the facility in general, so you hear like there's a foreign object detected in tube B4, initiating fumigation. So there's like a hiss. You guys hear a hiss from some sort of gas injection device in the built into the tunnels, and there's just like a mist of sickly green looking gas filling the tunnels.
Okay. Well, I guess I've got to share the head, or because I'm definitely forgetting that we don't need to speak out loud for Somerset to hold her breath and run like shit, because that's what I'm doing.
Almighty fucking parkour.
So speaking of parkour, I think that is a parkour roll.
Okay,
so Nike, you don't have to roll, but I believe Somerset will.
All right, so it's ego, decent at ego.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh, it's a 10.
Nice. My display just disappeared. So yeah, on a 10 plus, you succeed without any complications, so you're fine. Nike, are you just gonna add to the stretch track, or are you gonna roll for this?
Yeah, I'm gonna push it up by 1 on ego. So
okay. So yeah, the tunnel system starts filling with this green tinged gas. It's sort of like it seems like it's sort of electrified. Like there's a light. There's a light element to it. Like it's sparking with energy because futuristic fumigation and stuff.
Health and safety is not at the top of these guys' list.
So you guys just sort of fucking run for your lives, basically, from this cloud of death, and come to you meet at a junction. With the gas on both your tails, and you're laying it towards the exit that you know is up ahead, which is barred. I mean, like it's got the grate on, and you're gonna have to like kick through, which I don't think will require a roll so much. So you just. I think why don't you describe how you get through this grate and come out into the main facility itself?
I think maybe Nike is trying to like physically manhandle it and like try and wedge it or rip it open, and Somerset is just She pulls out the other can of cryo stuff that we had for the fans, just like sprays it on the hinges of this gate, the lock there, and just picks up a small rock or something and just taps it as it snaps open. We push the grate to the side.
Perfect. And I think Nike is shaking her head and going, remind me next time we're infiltrating someone to bring Shade along.
I was going to tell you the same thing.
All right. So you guys like sort of not tumble because you at least okay. So Somerset maybe tumbles a bit because you're using Nike's skill set, but it's not your, you're not built for this. Generally speaking.
Also, I continue to insist on wearing like long, flowy clothing. It's not the best for complicated parkour.
So yeah, you sort of tumble.
Stepping on your ham is not a good move.
But Nike sort of just does a sort of roll and lands on her feet, and yeah, you're inside. And we go back to the PR side.
When we kind of have moved a little away from Brandy, I'll look. What do you got in mind?
I don't know, but let's approach Trauma 1 and see what we can do. There's got to be somebody that we can find in power. Somebody.
What are we going to do when we find them, though?
We're going to ask questions.
Questions? Or are we wanting to grab them and get them away?
I'm beginning to see why somebody might have thought you were overly aggressive.
Just saying that they're probably not going to want to talk to us of their, own volition.
Yeah. Let's give it a go.
All right. Lead on, McDuff.
Believe it or not, most corporations employ people solely to speak.
Actually,
that's all they want to do.
You hear like Keaton sort of corrects you there, Somerset. It's actually Leon McDuff. That's a common misquote.
Thanks, Keaton.
Okay, so we need to go and find somebody from Trauma 1 that is willing to talk to us.
Are we planning on sneaking to get to them, or are we just going to walk up and say, "Hey, we'd like to talk to your, face guy"?
I would have thought just the walk up and ask what to work.
Okay, you try that.
Okay.
I'll be right behind you.
Okay. I'm guessing there's nobody from Trauma 1 round the squatters.
No, not right there.
So we're probably looking at getting to the main archaeology, the power plant again.
Yep.
Although I wouldn't be surprised if as soon as we got to the bridge, there'd be people there.
There's definitely going to be people at the bridge.
Okay. Hands well clear of the weapons, just so they don't get any strange ideas.
I'll be keeping more to the shadows and keeping a cover on him as best I can.
Okay, so you guys walk along the bridge with your hands displayed and non-threatening.
I'll walk to the first guy at the end of the bridge. There's no point being surrounded by them.
Yeah. And they're clearly as you're walking up, they're on like their earpieces to somewhat, like their Bluetooth headsets on to somebody else that's that they're receiving instructions from, and they say, "Halt! That's close enough."
Okay. Good evening. Is there anyone I can talk to over there?
They're asking to talk to somebody.
Somebody who can make some decisions, perhaps?
What's it regarding?
The unexpected and unannounced residents who have taken up in the archaeology.
Yes, ma'am. Okay. They lower their weapons. Not so much, completely lower their weapons, just sort of like they lower them, but they're prepared to like train them on you, and not, if you do anything funny.
They're not actively aiming at our heads anymore.
Yeah. So yeah, they say the guy that you've been speaking to actually says, if you'll follow me, and they lead you towards the archaeology building. Assuming you follow.
Yeah.
Okay, and a couple of other troops flank you as you follow him, and you are brought to the 3H archaeology the main archaeology building. They lead you inside to one of the smaller offices on the main floor, where you see Veronica Coate has made a sort of small operating, a small field office for herself in this building.
Oh.
She's a sort of brown hair, green eyes, and sort of muscular physique, but wearing actually not wearing a suit. She's wearing the security overalls with the with her armor worn loose right now. She's not got it strapped up.
Feeling your recognition, Watts, I'll kind of think over at you. You know her?
I know her. Oh, Veronica. Long time no see.
Let me see. Just,
they got you working out of this place.
Yeah. We were hoping to find out what 3H was so interested in getting back here for. I see you made a mess before I got here.
Yeah, we don't see eye to eye with 3H. I dare say you don't either. Yeah. So you're looking for information, evidence on 3H. Find out what they were doing here.
Well, we're looking for a lot of things, but that's definitely one of the things that we're interested in. Yeah.
I might have a vested interest in finding that as well. But my interest might be more towards embarrassing them. If it's embarrassing. I think we might have some common ground.
Maybe. You said you wanted to talk about the squatters.
Yeah. Potentially. I was wondering if there's any compromise we could reach which doesn't involve evicting them from the island.
Well,
possibly show you cleaning up 3H's problem. It's good publicity.
I'm all for helping people. That's what we do. But
and if 3H come out looking pretty terrible from it, that would probably work for you too.
But this facility, it's not a safe place for civilians to live in. It's
They're not living in the power plant.
The facility that they are living in is, from what I can tell, is in a bit worse shape than this one.
Probably. So what are you here to do?
I'm here to secure this facility, make it safe, and then arrange for it to be reappropriated.
And what about the folks living here? What are you going to do with them?
So you don't have any cameras on her or anything, do you?
No, that would be most impolite.
Well, unfortunately, we would have to put them in what's the word? One of the reclamation zones.
That seems a little harsh.
It all seems, I mean, your argument that where they're living is unsafe, that sounds more unsafe.
They will be safer there than here, because well, I've just got word that 3H are already sending troops to try and reclaim this facility.
Really?
And if they've got something they want to cover up here, I don't think they're going to care to keep any potential witnesses around.
Okay. How about if we find, or if we found some evidence on 3H, what would that be worth to you? Oh, through the Headspace, I'm just checking what the other team are up to. Any sign of any evidence?
All right. So I'll take that subtle hint and we'll cut back to the other two. You've come out into, I think, one of the lower areas of the facility. There is power to the facility again, and you can see the sort of lights of some drones floating up one of the corridors that you're approaching. You know, like you're coming towards the T junction, and you see the light of the drone passing by up ahead.
I miss our pet drone from the other facility.
It should be easier for you to suborn one now, right?
Surely it couldn't be much harder.
What about the Whistler's drones, by the way? Do you still have those? We said that there was a sort of connection where, you know, Whistler was still manifesting sort of through the drone.
Oh yeah. So yeah, we probably have at least a couple of mini drones on us, sort of flying eye things.
Okay.
Maybe like a group of 3 of them that we can send up and sort of get an eye of what's ahead of us.
Okay. I don't think I'll make you roll for that. So you send the drones up ahead. They're able to track the other ones without being detected. No, actually, I think I need to make you roll for that if it's going to be a benefit.
Yes, it's fear.
Drones, I think it's fear. Yeah.
Yeah, it's fear.
Well, if they're flying ones, you want to fly them around?
Yeah, I'll try that. Okay. That is a 9.
Ooh.
Okay. So it's a headspace move, so it's just 1 complication.
1 complication on fear. You avoid an existing conflict. I'm not sure that makes any sense. You leave behind an ally or resource. We just have the 2 of us and the drones. So do you think that maybe we have to, in order to get a good eye on the enemy drones inside the building, we lose one of our little 3 scouts? As we go deeper and deeper, it gets cut off by some kind of security field or something like that.
Yeah.
So, there's like some sort of electronic interference field, like some sort of EMP or something that prevents it from going further beyond the drone patrol route.
Okay.
It's a sort of thing that you'd expect to be in place around somewhere that they don't want any spy drone type devices getting into. So there's definitely seems to be somewhere that they want to keep secret.
That sounds like the best place to go into.
Yeah, let's maybe we're using that drone that we lose as kind of our forward scout, and we're using it almost exclusively to find our way through the complex. So we lose it to that, and then maybe we have to leave the other 2 behind temporarily so we don't lose them as well to the EMP.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, Larry! You hear Whistler sort of mournfully sigh.
Don't worry, we'll watch out for Curly and Mo. So yeah, I think we'll wait for the security drones to do another circuit so that we're sure on our timing, and follow along after them to get into that area.
Okay.
So I guess the message back to the guys who are wondering are we nearly there? I guess we say we seem to have found, I wouldn't say the mother lode, but we're close to something.
How close?
Standing outside the office.
Okay, I'll delay.
But I guess you can always just say, hey, we have it, but we're not going to tell you what we have until you deliver. If you can make that work.
You can also try and stall/threaten her by talking about the live streams that are going up.
Yeah.
Will be going up.
Let's give it a go.
So I think while you're you're having this conversation at the speed of thought. So she's picking up where you left off and saying, I mean, are you talking about dirt that you have or dirt that you can find for us? Because we can find dirt ourselves.
We've got the dirt. We're evaluating it to figure out just how incriminating it is. But the early stuff I've heard suggests it's pretty good.
I'm going to need you to make a coax roll.
The one skill that we don't have in the entire Headspace. Not quite the only skill, but one of the few. Okay. Could I at least make psychology? Then we've got it in the Headspace.
Let me just check the definition for psychology. But I don't think that's quite what it's meant for.
Yeah, because Somerset's got psychology, which... Can't believe you haven't got coax. You have no social skills in the entire group apart from psychology.
We are not good at that.
Operator creation.
I mean, it depends on if we think since lying to her falls into that psychology, or if we're trying to convince her as a coax to agree with what we're planning here or going with. It probably is coax, but
I'm fairly sure it's coax. So how does it work if we don't have the skill?
You're just rolling.
You're
with
rolling
discipline.
with the highest current.
The highest current, which is rage,
Anything but fear.
anything apart from fear.
2. You're rolling. Oh, great. That's awkward. I think I'll have to go with the associated baggage for it then.
You don't have an associated baggage.
Of course it doesn't. It was Keaton.
It is Keaton, yeah.
I think you choose, Rob. If it's a draw, you get
call
to
it
just
call it ego.
Call it ego. Oh, that's not good. Can't we call it rage? Oh, let's give it a
go. I'm saying that because it's about projecting confidence and
yeah. What did I roll? Oh, brilliant! It couldn't really be much worse.
That sounds like a great time to reveal a regret.
Yeah.
Well, 2.
Okay, so on a 2,
I'm guessing that was a huge success.
So on a 2 with an improvised move, I tell you what happens. And she looks at you, and it's a sort of pitying look that she gives you. Oh, what? You came in here with no cards to play. And I have standing orders to apprehend those that made that big mess. So sorry, buddy.
Shall we try your strategy?
So yeah, the one guy that was leading you and the 2 guys that were behind you all draw their, they all aim their guns straight at you guys.
I don't like that at all.
And I think that we're going to call it there.
Okay.
Because we're 5 minutes past my. Yeah.
Whew. Well,
That's a suitable cliffhanger. Yeah.
Yeah.
I want to find out next week whether firearms or martial arts is the best social skill.
I'm going for explosives, actually. I have grenades and explosives.
That's good for talking to a crowd.
I'm wanting to open up with this monofilament whip I've been toting around.
What could possibly go wrong?
Exactly.
Messy and dangerous. Those are the best tags.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So I'm going to stop the broadcast there. And we'll pick this up next week for the conclusion of this short arc.
Cool.
See you then.